Hi everyone, my name is Sydney and today we're going to be discussing the second book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, The Sea of Monsters by Riordan. Without spoiling you, it's basically about another quest and it involves a lot of monsters. The main monster within this book are Cyclops. You really get to know a lot more about what they are. And like the first book, this one is just such a thrill ride that there are twists and turns in every single chapter, and it's just so much fun. These books have really made me realize just how obsessed I am with Greek mythology and how fascinated I am with wanting to know more and more and more. Every time a god appears within these books, I just automatically fangirl because it's so awesome. Oh my god. In saying that, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna go into the spoilery section. Please go read it, come back, and then we can talk. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. So we meet a new character, Tyson, and I found Tyson to be very random at the beginning. I was thinking, oh, it's like another Grover, but I really enjoyed how Tyson's character did develop within this book. We found out he's a Cyclops, that he's a baby Cyclops with one eye. He isn't harmed by fire, really good with mechanics, and that he's actually Percy's half brother. It just really makes me think about how the gods are so frisky and are just popping kids every second. For me, within reading this book, I think there were a few things that could have had different endings. For example, I thought in Tyson being resurrected, it didn't really make sense. I don't know how I feel about Tyson. I don't think I love him as a character, but as this story went on, I definitely felt a lot more connected to Percy and how he was feeling guilty about not wanting to claim him as his brother. I also didn't really like the whole plot with Grover. I thought it was a bit weird trying to hide his identity, that he's a satyr, and making himself a veil, and how there was the Cyclops who wanted to get married to him. We meet the Grey sisters at the beginning of this book, who grant us with the weirdest taxi ride. Numbers they gave to Percy were coordinates 30, 31, 75, 12 to the Sea of Monsters and the Bermuda Triangle. I thought that was super cool and it made me go, whoa, what the fuck? I really love the addition of Tantalus. I loved how every time he goes to like grab a plate, it runs away from him, that he has been cursed as a result of what he did in the past. Once upon a time, there was a mortal king who was beloved of the gods. This king was even allowed to feast on Mount Olympus, but when he tried to take some ambrosia and nectar back to Earth to figure out the recipe, the gods punished him. They banned him from their halls forever. His own people mocked him. His children scolded him. And oh yes, campers, he had horrible children. Children just like you. Do you know how he paid back the gods for their cruel punishment? He invited the Olympians to a feast at his palace just to show there were no hard feelings. No one noticed that his children were missing. And when he served the gods dinner, my dear campers, can you guess what was in the stew? It really just made me want to see Tantalus a lot more, and I hope that we see him a lot more within the other books. I have a feeling that he will join forces with Luke. I also have a feeling that Travis and Connor are Luke's spies within the camp, because Luke himself was a son of Hermes as well as them, so it does make sense that within their cabin maybe they were conspiring. I don't know, I just have this little feeling. Could be wrong, but maybe. I really loved how Percy ended up going to the beach and ends up meeting Hermes there. I thought that was super awesome because Hermes ends up giving him many gifts, like the vitamins, a compass. I also thought it was so funny how Hermes tells Percy that he invented the internet. Like, what? What I really enjoyed about reading this book was the quest of going to the Sea of Monsters to retrieve the Golden Fleece, being able to seep out the poison from the tree, but the fact that at the end the fleece did too much. Oh my god. That it brought back Talia, and that was just such a moment of whoa. The tree that is Talia, it was poisoned, and of course we find out that it was poisoned by Luke. It all made sense for the prophecy. The next child of the big three who reaches 16 will be a dangerous weapon. I was thinking to myself, is there a way to bring back Talia? And the fact that this happened was awesome, but it makes the prophecy that much more difficult to understand, because it makes you think, are they talking about Percy or are they talking about Talia? It makes it that much more confusing, but that much more interesting. I also really loved having more of Clarice in this story. It was very honorable of Percy to allow her to finish the quest for her to be the one that brings the Golden Fleece back to Camp Half-Blood and save the day. You really can see that she is a daughter of the god of war. So my favorite scene within this story was when we met Cece, when we met Circe. I just really love that we had this feminist sorceress. We had her turning men into guinea pigs, how she ended up turning Percy into one, and how Annabeth didn't fall for it. Before I read that chapter, I was thinking in my head how much I want to read Circe by Madeline Miller, which is this book, because I haven't read it yet. And then this chapter involved her and I freaked myself out, like, what? I definitely want to read this after I finish the series. I also really loved how at the end of this book, when we are face to face with Luke, that Percy ended up live streaming Luke, basically admitting to his crimes, enabling Chiron to get his job back. I thought that was just so awesome, and everyone at Camp Half-Blood, Dionysius the god of wine, just sitting there being like, oh, well, this is a bit awkward. That was so awesome. I really loved how Tyson ended up creating a watch for Percy and gave him a shield, how it has the carvings of their quest. Tyson ended up receiving an internship from Poseidon. I could just feel how jealous Percy was. What really fucking shocked me with this book was we learned that Chiron is the son of Kronos. I couldn't fucking believe that. I was reading that bit like, what the fuck? But yeah, I can't wait to read the next book and see what happens. I'm assuming because Talia is older than Percy that she will be a dangerous weapon, and somehow Luke and Kronos will get a hold of her and she will become evil because she probably really trusts Luke. I think that's going to be such an interesting addition to the next book. But yes, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next video super soon as usual. Bye!